today we have a really interesting new build that I want to do. And before we get into it, I wanted to just quickly go over it so you understand the scope and what it is exactly that we're going to be doing. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to use something called Apify or Apify. It's a website. It has a lot of really good tools. And what it allows us to do is get data extracted from a variety of websites, social platforms, etc. So I'll go through that. I'll show that to you. And in today's version of using it, we're going to be extracting data from Google Maps. And this is going to be really interesting and valuable for you guys to learn. The next thing, once we collect the data, and for example, we're going to be getting things such as like things about the business. So it's going to be Google Maps for the purpose of getting business data. We're going to be getting the name of the business, the address, the website, which is really important. And then once we have that information, we're going to swing over to a website called AnyMailFinder. I love this website. It's a really cheap, scalable way to get the information of set like a decision maker, for example, of a company, a marketer of a company, whatever the case is. But basically, it's allowing us to get their email contact along with their LinkedIn profile, which is super key for what we're putting together. Once we have that, we're going to use Perplexity. And Perplexity is something I mentioned in the last video. What that's going to allow us to do is we're going to do additional research to that individual. So basically, we're going to be able to create personalized email outreach to them. We're going to be able to find out things such as what they've been up to for the last 6 months, what projects they may have on the go, sort of their overall history, the company's history. So that way, when we hit them up with an email, it's not going to be your typical cookie cutter, hey, generic stuff. It's going to be a little bit more detailed and feel sort of personable to that individual. At that point, once we get that, we're going to load it into Airtable. So I've shown you guys Airtable in the last video. Airtable is something we're using to create a database and to monitor and track the outreach that it is we do. And once we have that, where we're going from there is we're going to use AI to create hyper-personalized email in HTML. So if you remember, I'd mentioned this actually as well in the last video. HTML is basically a language that's used to create nice looking emails as opposed to plain text. So that way it'll sort of stand out. And the final thing is we're going to be able to review, edit, and actually send those emails out from the database that we create on Airtable. Okay? So hang tight, pay attention, and let's go through it. Here's the first thing. First and foremost, what you want to do, just like we did last time, is you want to go over to make.com. Make.com, as you may know, is a automation AI platform that's relatively cheap and simple to get started in the world of AI and automations. What it's going to allow for you to do is once you sign up, I think it's going to give you an ability to use it for free up to a certain amount of usage. But you could get, for like $10 a month, you could use it a ton. And it's just like a really cost-effective way that's relatively got a lower sort of learning curve to understand and conceptually get what it is that we're doing, okay? So I'll circle back to this in a second. The next thing we want to do is you want to go to Apify, okay? So Apify or Apify, whichever way you want to pronounce it, is the website that I mentioned. Make an account, log in. Once again, it's free. They're going to give you $5 every month in reusable credit that you can apply to any one of these actors, okay? So here's what it is. You have the Apify store, and basically you have these different sections. So for example, we have social media, AI agents, lead generation, e-commerce, SEO, jobs, etc., etc. And then you can go through. So for instance, if I click like real estate, they have these scrapers, which basically just means this allows me to get data directly from the website in one shot without having to manually go to the website, copy, paste, and do the stuff that we might be used to. So in this situation, when we go to the store, so this assumes you've made the account, we're going to go look for something called Google Maps Scraper. So as you see, there's different versions to this scraper, but this is the one that I like, and you'll see why. The developer here is a company or a person named Compass. So by the way, just for a little more context, the Apify store is made up of what they call actors. Actors are basically either code or script that a developer and or company has created, and then they allow you to rent these actors, which basically means you can use their code and or script for a price, which by the way, for the most part is really, really cheap. And then that way you could sort of just use that versus figuring out how to really do it on your own. and you can integrate it with Make, which makes it super, super powerful. So in this case, we're going to go to this one, and I've already filled it out before, so I'm going to go through it again. All you want to do is, so first of all, in terms of price wise, for $4, you can get 1,000 places. So when we say 1,000 places, in essence, what we're getting is 1,000 different businesses. Okay, we're going to get the name of the business, website of the business, address of the business, and a bunch of other stuff should we choose to. So in this case, let me just walk you through this and please follow along. And for the purpose of the exercise, just fill out exactly what I did, or if you really want, try something else. But I went with 3 niches right now. So I went with restaurant, dentist, chiropractor, and I'm doing this for Toronto, Ontario, because this is where the location is. So you can pick the location of where you want. And this is where you would add the different niches, and you can add to it as well. Okay. So you have that. I've chosen 10 places to get back as a response. So that means every time I do these searches at a maximum, I want to get 10 back. However, I can increase that to 100. I can increase that to 200. It doesn't matter. So what you want to first do, just as a best practice, is you want to test it. You want to make sure it works. You want to make sure it's giving you the data and information the way you want it. And once you've solidified all those aspects to it, that's when you're going to scale it up and you're going to use more, results, for example. Here's some other stuff that we can get. So we can add on search filters. So place categories, exact name matches. We can get places with or without a website. So for actually, you know what? I've never done this. So what I'm going to do here, because I never used to do this when I would do this automation, but I'm going to go with places with a website because it is important. It's actually something we need. And so you're going to see why that makes sense in a little bit. So, make it a habit. You can go through all these different options here. Let's see, include web results, malls, shopping center. Nah. So I think we're pretty good. And that's basically it. Okay. So the first thing, what you want to do is once that's happened, you're just going to simply click save and start. So now it's running. And then you're going to go back to actors. You're going to go back here. You're going to go over here. So now next thing we're going to do is we're going to go to make. So this is actually what I already opened, but I'll do it again. And I'm going to click on Apify. So just like always, if you don't have a connection or credentials set up, it's very easy to do. When you go to Apify, I think you may have to create a connection. And if you don't, what happens is you simply just go to run an actor. Okay. So there is the connection. And when you go to the connection, you just simply fill this out. But again, as always, they give you the ability to connect and give you the help that you need of how to do it. It's actually really simple. Okay. So that's what you do there. In terms of the actors, so we want to make sure that the actor that we're choosing matches what's on Apify. So just to be safe, if we go back, it's the Google Maps scraper compass crawler. Okay. So we're going to go back. Google Maps scraper, compass crawler. Okay, perfect. You want to click yes for this so that way they're able to run at the same time. And that way you don't have to sort of wait on, and it just makes it a lot easier. Okay, so just click yes to that. And this part's really, really important. So this part is the JSON. JSON is a type of language that sends and receives data, or data, whichever way you want to pronounce it. So this is actually super important, and you're going to see JSON as something that's going to come up more and more as you get into the world of AI and automations. So what we're going to do is, it's pretty simple. I know it's intimidating, at least it looks that way, but remember, you're in the actor, you're going to go here where it says input, and then you're going to click JSON. Okay, and you see all this stuff here. You don't need to really care so much about it, but what you want to do is you want to copy it. Once you copy it, you come back here. I personally like to right click, and then I like to match the style. Could be an OCD thing, but that way it's simple and it's easy to look at. And then, by the way, as we move on, I'm going to show you how you can actually control your searches and make your decisions on what type of business you're looking to get information on, what location, and how many results. You can control that from either a text message, you can control that from Airtable, or whatever actual interface you want to use, okay? But for the time being, we're just going to kind of do it like this. So we've got it, okay? So now all you do is save, and it's just the same information that we had. So remember, we had the 10 places, we had Toronto, Ontario, we had restaurant, dentist, chiropractor, and we actually said with website. So that's important. And we're gonna click save. We're gonna save here. We're gonna right click. We're gonna do run this module only. So now it's running it. And now we're just waiting for it to complete. We want to see the green check mark as always, because that's, that's when you know it worked. So it's just going to take a second. Boom, we got it. Excellent. So here's what we're looking for. We're going to go back and we're going to simply click Apify again. And we're going to click on get data set item. So this part may confuse you a little bit, but let me show you. So you have this, which actually runs the actors. So in Apify, there's a multitude of actors. And every time you run it here, the way we started when I put this information in, it actually puts it as an option to pick in Make. So in the future, I don't necessarily have to do anything here anymore. I could just control it all from Make. So I did it this way because I wanted you guys to see so you would know moving forward. So when we go back though, we've run it and now we're getting the data set item. So that means we're now gonna get the information that we retrieved initially. So just bear with me. And again, as always, we're mapping back and forth. So with Make and most of these automation tools, when it's asking for information here, you're literally just gonna map it from somewhere before. Okay, so you're just pulling information forward for the most part. So the data set ID, if you wanna make it simple, you can just literally type data set, and here it is, the default data set ID. Click it. Oops, click it. Okay, excellent. JSON 100, perfect. Okay, awesome. Let me just move myself over there. Got this, excellent. And we're gonna run it again. We're gonna do this only because we wanna get the information now. So what's happening is we're running the actor one more time. Once it completes running, we're then automatically gonna be getting the information, okay? Meaning that we're just gonna get the data back and then we're gonna be able to do things with it. So here we go. What did we get? Okay, let me move this. Okay, so the first one, dentist, North York Smile, title, category, address, neighborhood, website, which is important, the phone number, which could be useful, location, score, categories, review count. So they have 894 reviews, opening hours, places. So you see there's a lot of information, but for the purpose of this example, I'm not interested in all that. And I'm going to show you exactly what we're going to do. So as you can see, they gave us a bunch of results. I picked 3 different types of businesses. I went with dentist, chiropractor, and sorry guys, what was the last one? So we went with restaurant, dentist, chiropractor. And if you look over here, we receive a bundle. Each bundle is a result. So what that means is when you scroll down, we got 30 bundles, and that's representative of the 3 different categories with 10 for each, okay? So let's move along. So now that we've got that, the next thing I want you to do is go to a website called AnyMailFinder, okay? Just like this, AnyMailFinder.com, and make an account. And for the most part, this too is relatively cheap. I think that they give you an opportunity to test it with a certain amount of credits, but for the most part, it could be $30 or $40 a month. Okay, but it's well worth it because what it's going to do now is it's going to take the websites that we found and it's going to get the decision maker's email on autopilot for us so we can start building this database of contacts. Okay, so go to AnyMailFinder, make an account. Once you've registered and made that account, go back to Make, and then simply go to AnyMailFinder because it's connected to Make. So we're going to look for search for a decision maker's email. Okay, so we're going to click that. You're going to connect to your credential just like always. And as always, there's always this online help, which is going to tell you exactly how to make the connection for the first time. And traditionally, it's done by API key, which is on the actual website. So it's not too hard of a process. In this case, what we're going to do is we're going to search by domain or the website, which again is why I specifically wanted results that had the website. Because in the past, when I've done this, I've actually filtered after the fact for the website. But now seeing that option, this is much better, much simpler, much cleaner. And then all we do is we just simply click on, where is it? I just saw it, website. Okay. So for domain, you pass forward the information from the second module, which was the results, which is the get data set items, put in website, and the category, in my case, in our case, we're looking for the CEO founder, but obviously you can see that there's a lot of different departments and individuals that you can actually connect with depending on what your use case is. But for ours, we're gonna go with the CEO founder. And then I only want, because it gives me all found mail, or we're gonna have fully verified emails, which apparently comes with a 97% plus delivery rate. So that's what I want, okay? So we've done that. So now, imagine we have that. The next thing from there, because we want 2 routes to happen. So I'm just, again, as always, I'm building on the fly, and I'm just sort of thinking from a logical standpoint, what's gonna happen. So what I think is going to happen here is we're going to get stuff that's verified and we're going to get stuff that's not verified. So for the time being, let's do the following. We're going to create a router, which basically means that allows us to split open the pathway, right? One pathway can go this way and another one can go that way. And if there's other options here, I can continuously add more. But for now, what I'm going to do is I want to create a Perplexity chat completion. Hopefully you guys can see this. I want to create a Perplexity chat completion. So I've discussed Perplexity in the last video as well, guys. Feel free to make an account. You know, if you don't have one, I would recommend getting one. Like I said, with Make specifically, they're not native. So Perplexity is not native to Make, meaning the actual module. If you want to use it, you're going to have to pay for it. It's like $30 or so. However, there's other ways to do it. But if you're planning on taking this serious and this is of interest to you, I would recommend spending the 30, 40 bucks. It's worth it. What we're going to do now is we're going to go with Sonar Pro. Sonar Pro is more like a chat completion sort of result, whereas you can see here we have different versions. Reasoning is where it thinks more and stuff like that. We don't need all that. So I think we'll just do the Sonar Pro. And then we're going to leave the rest blank. Or actually, whoops, forgot the most important part. Content. Okay, so again, system role to define the purpose and what it does. And we're going to say role are an expert at research analysis. You will be, oops, let's fix that. Your goal is to research the provided individual and company and find out the following: latest company news and insights, especially within the last 6 months. Look, ensure, and again, as always, you want to take your raw prompt, because mastering the prompt on the first shot is hard. And to make it simple, just kind of put all your intentions of what you're hoping to seek down into it, meaning like don't worry too much about how you're framing it, how you're saying it, and then just throw that into ChatGPT so it can improve on it, okay? And then iterate continuously if you have to. So the latest company news and insights, especially within the last 6 months, ensure that you check all social media platforms like YouTube, Reddit, TikTok, and Twitter. See if any opinions or updates were given on podcasts, etc. You will be given the user's name, role, company website, and the user's LinkedIn profile URL. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this. Over here, as you can see, is I've got my handy friend, ChatGPT. Let's get rid of Grammarly. I'm going to say, you are my prompt engineer. I will now give you a prompt that I need you to enhance and maximize Oops, it's full potential. So nothing too fancy, just say something to that effect. And now, here we go. So I'm just gonna let it continuously roll out what it's gonna say here. So what we can see is you're an elite level research analyst specializing in real-time digital intelligence gathering. Your primary objective is to deeply research the provided individual and their company, surfacing the most relevant, recent, and strategic insights across both traditional and non-traditional platforms. So this is a fantastic prompt, okay? So what we're gonna do is all this part here, I'm gonna keep for the bottom. I'll show you what I mean. So let's just copy this part of it, okay? Oops. 1 sec. Okay. Sometimes I hate when they give you these emojis, but whatever. Let's replace it. Let's put Markdown. Okay. So we have role. We have goals. So again, it's kind of like you're really giving a detailed report or sort of request to a potential employee. Like if you were to hire someone and you were to explain to them what it is that they have to do, what they have to get done, how they're to do it, that's kind of what prompting is. You're pretty much just training an employee for the most part, okay? So the reason I didn't want to copy this part yet is I'll show you, but I want this, okay? I'll copy that. And then I'm going to say, let's put it here, okay? And we're going to keep the markdown. And then, by the way, sometimes these LLMs, what they'll do is they'll start, they'll respond conversationally, and I don't really want that. So I'll write, make sure to only output the response. No fluff, no commentary, no quotations. Only the response, okay? Just to reiterate, so we've got that part down. And then we're going to add another item. So we're going to create another role, which is user. So if you remember from the last video, I like to separate my prompts into two. I like to create a system prompt, which basically explains the role, the steps, the expected output, just sort of the framework of what it is I want done. And then the user one is the one that changes in terms of the data that's provided. So this is where I give it the name and, all that other stuff. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. Here is the data. Email, no, we don't need email. Person, full name. So you do a key value pair, okay? This is the key, and then the value is their actual name. Okay, so this is like internet computer talk, but you'll start to think of things this way more often. So person, full name, person, job title. Okay, and then you just literally copy. Let's create a little more space. And then we're going to do person linked in URL over here. What else? Okay. Oh, yeah. Company name. Oops. We'll get the company name here from title. And then company website. We'll do that here. Where the hell is it? Okay, here. And then I do want to add something to the system prompt over here. So what I want to add is, what was I going to say? Make sure the response is concise and has high value data, as this will be used in an email later on that will contain icebreaker into rapport builder. For more context, I'm a realtor and will be using this as part of a cold outbound email campaign looking to get business real estate services from the business owners. Okay, so I'm going to copy that again. I just kind of filled it out in raw form. Just again, I'm literally putting my thoughts down, and then I'm going to have those thoughts sort of corrected or improved by ChatGPT. So, hey, tweaked the prompt a bit. Can you ensure it's 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 the best that it can be? Here it is. So let's see what happens. Okay, expert research, top tier. Okay, goals. Cool. Okay. Okay, so that's actually really good. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to paste it. We're going to delete this, of course. Clean it up. Go to the top. Bring in the markdown. Again, I still don't know if it's actually going to make for better results, but I feel like it does. I see people doing it, so why not? Okay, and that's it. Okay, so we've got that set up. And in this case, what we're going to do is email exists. Okay, so this basically means, and I've created now a filter that if the email exists, it can continue, because if it doesn't, I cannot continue. Then I want to add another thing. See, the question is, we can route it in a couple ways here. So, okay, hang on. So if the email doesn't exist, we're going to send it here, because sometimes that happens. Okay, so we'll do email does not exist. So what's happened so far is if it does exist, it goes up this way, it goes to Perplexity, and we continue onwards with what we want. If it doesn't exist, it goes down here and it's of no use to us. But then the question is, if it does exist, I also want to make sure that, because we want to make sure that the LinkedIn also exists, okay? So I'm going to add the LinkedIn as well, because I feel that that's important for what we're doing. So we're going to say LinkedIn exists. So we've put two conditions here. We've put email and LinkedIn URL, which is the actual website to their LinkedIn profile, exists. So I'm going to write email, LinkedIn, okay, because we know the website exists. And then here we'll say no email, okay? And then once we have this, so what I want to do is I want to see, let's see guys, one sec. Just take, you know what, actually, screw that. Let's take this back. So by the way, this right here, this is the trigger. So right now we're operating on clock, because Apify it runs when you ask it to run, or if I set it to a specific day and time, it can run, but there's nothing that would happen to trigger it on its own. So it's something that I would set, okay? So this is where it would start. So now I'm just gonna make sure everything's connected, and I'm gonna save, and I'm gonna make sure that all the data that I put in basically passed through. So when it's solid like this, it means that data's passed through, and that's important, because if it's not passed through, then you're gonna have a problem. So what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna give it a quick run. And in this case, what I can do is, for the purpose of testing, you can always change the JSON here. So this is actually going to communicate with Apify. So if I make changes here, essentially, it's going to actually change the request there. So I'm not stuck pulling 10 each and every single time. So I'm going to do 1, and I'm just going to leave it as is, okay? Because I just want 1 to make sure it works. So we're running it. Let me move myself here. So now it should run 1. And then once it runs the 1, it's going to get it. And then once it gets it, it should hopefully take it to AnyMailFinder and get us somebody that has a LinkedIn. Hopefully we go 1 for 1 here, because sometimes you don't get the LinkedIn. So hopefully we get it. Let's see. So this has worked successfully. And we received, oh, it's interesting. How many bundles? 3. Okay, got it. Because remember, we did 3 places to search. So we got 3 bundles. So that's actually better because, or 3 results. And that's better because I'm hoping that one of these pass through and make it over here. But if you look here, so search by domain, let's see, Killfinch chiropractor. So let's see, results, nope. So you only got charged for the results where it found something. So as you can see, nothing. So we may have to run it more. That's why it ended. So I'll go back and I'll do 10. I'll do 10 just because I want to make sure that we find something, so that way I can pass the data further and continue this onwards, okay? But this is a very simple way. Like, by the way, you could stack multiple actors from Apify. So something I've done in the past was like, I could use the Google Maps to get the company and the information on them. And then from there, I could do like an Instagram scraper to see what their social media is looking like, and sort of literally give them commentary and be like, hey, by the way, I noticed X, Y, and Z, and this is how you can improve it, and blah, blah, blah. So it's actually really, really powerful, especially when you get super creative and stack it. But as always, I want to give us a very easy sort of way into this, you know, and then once you guys get comfortable, we'll go from there. So, okay, we had something pass through. And in this case, we got both the email and the LinkedIn, which is key. And we got a result. So let's see. Okay, I'm going to put myself here. Choices, message, content. So this is, okay, company updates. No significant company updates for Health One Dental, North York. Been found. Okay, no recent social media or mentions of Andrew Beto. He held multiple positions, healthcare sector, currently serves the president and chief executive officer. Dental, he previously worked as a clinic or manager, earning, wow, okay, cool. Healthcare sector continues to be growing, however, no specifics. So this one doesn't give us a lot of information, but it does give us enough where you can already see that stuff like this can be easily used for a customized sort of email, okay? So let's just let this continue here. Hopefully we got a couple more, something juicy. And that way, you know, we could actually send out something, or I can create something and we can see. So let's see. So far, these aren't even passing the filter. And by the way, as I'm thinking here, I don't actually think we need this at all, to be honest with you, because it's just going to come back anyways, right? Like, it's just not going to pass through. So we don't actually need a separate filter. We could just get rid of the router. We can get rid of this whole thing, put a simple filter from here to here, and make sure that only the stuff that has what we want passes through. Again, you can make the filtering easier. You could remove the LinkedIn, for instance, and just stick to email if you don't care. Sometimes that can be more beneficial, because the more sort of specific you are with the data that you want, the less results that you're going to get. So if you're looking to get 50 or 100 or 200 results, you might have to set the search for a multiple of that number to consider the fact that many are going to get filtered out, okay? Or what you can do is, so in this case, I can actually change it. And what I'm thinking of doing, excuse me, guys, I'm fighting a cold. But what I'm thinking of doing, maybe not in this video, but what you can do is basically you have the one pathway, which includes the email and the LinkedIn. So this is super, super enriched data. And then you can create another pathway which has the email, because that's a non-compromisable, but it doesn't have the LinkedIn. And if it doesn't have the LinkedIn, that's okay. You could still send the email. You just may not have as much data to work with, or data, whichever, to send out your email. But let's see the second result here that we got. So we're back to choices, content. So no significant updates. Last practice continues to offer comprehensive limited social media presence with only 2 posts on Instagram. Interesting. It's odd to me that some companies continue to not really do social media outreach. It's pretty wild. She has over 20 years of experience in dentistry. She's a graduate of the University of Toronto, Faculty of Dentistry, class of '89. Leads an all-woman dental team, emphasizing a compassionate approach. Cool. And what else? Okay. So, interesting. So, like, there's advancement in technology that's happening here. And again, guys, you could literally sort of use this for almost any use case. This would work really, really well if you have a business that deals in B2B. If you're dealing with other businesses as part of your business, this tool is incredibly powerful. But if you're dealing, say, like in real estate, like I am, and obviously some of you or most of you are realtors as well, I want to see what happens if we just do this as a way to reach out to business owners and, say, hey, like, came across your stuff, really like the work that you did with X, Y, and Z. Congratulations on this. And, just wanted to let you know, this is who I am. This is what I do. Is there anything that you can use some help with? For example, are you looking for a bigger space? If it's relevant to the information that we got, would you like to get rid of your place to get a different place, and so on and so forth? So, yeah. Okay, guys, so I actually ended up stopping it, and the reason I did that is it was taking too long, and I wanted to make sure that I got through this whole video as quickly as I could for the purpose of getting you excited and giving you the knowledge you need to start doing some of the stuff on your own. So one of the things I mentioned a bit earlier is what we can do is, so we got, by the way, 2 results, which is fine. Just remember, as I've said many times before, if you're looking to get like 50 or 100 or whatever number you have in mind of actual results that you're seeking, what you want to do is when you start over here, always start with a much higher number or use a multiple. So if I want, like 50 results, I would put like 200, et cetera, et cetera. You know what I mean? Because again, we're only looking for verified emails, and this is why the filtration rate, that's why there's such a high burn of potential emails, because I'm not willing to accept all the found emails. I want specifically verified, and that's that. And so over here, by the way, it's not going to push anything through if there's no emails, so we can actually delete this entirely. Or here's what I think. So if you notice in this one, we can get rid of the email because it's going to be there, okay? And we'll just keep this as a LinkedIn. And then here we'll say no LinkedIn. Okay, because it makes a difference. You can do an add rule. And then we'll do LinkedIn does not exist. Okay, so as you can see, we run the Apify actor, we get the results from the actor, we run it through AnyMailFinder to ensure that we get any sort of verifiable emails on the person. Then once we get here, it knows whether or not there's a LinkedIn with the email. If there is, it goes here. And if there isn't, it goes here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open another Perplexity, create a chat completion, and we're just gonna copy it in most cases, okay? So here's how. Sonar Pro, item, system, system. Then I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna literally just copy, and I'm gonna paste. And then I just wanna make sure that it's what I need. Yep, great. And then I'm gonna go back to this one, and I'm going to add this over there, except the only difference is I'm going to delete the LinkedIn because it's not going to come to this one, right? So we're going to go here, and we're going to add an item, and we're going to go to user, paste, and then I'm just literally going to delete this, okay? Because we know it's not coming. So now we know if it has LinkedIn, it's going this way. If it doesn't, it's going that way. And if it does not have an email, it does not pass forward because it's a requirement for this to provide an email. As you can see here, if it doesn't have this, it doesn't move on, okay? So now we know. We got the data. It's only companies that have websites, which we need because the website gets fed into AnyMailFinder, which is going to get us the email of the decision maker, which in this case is the CEO founder. And again, you can add another module, and you can not only just look for CEOs, you can look for whoever else you want, which is awesome. And you're only paying, okay, so this is key, you're only actually paying for this if it finds you something. So you can't lose, And then the next thing that we're gonna do is I wanna try something different, and let me see if we can do this. Gemini. One sec, Gemini. Let me see. API. Okay, so 1 second. I'm gonna go to Google. We're gonna go to Google Gemini. And you're gonna go to, I think is it here? Google Studio? Because I need to get my API key so you guys will literally see. Okay, so this is it here. And then, hang on, finding your API key. What the hell is that? Settings. They always make it so hard to find, developer portal, console. Oh, right. Okay, so I guess it's not here. So I guess it's in the console. I must have forgot. The reason I want to try Gemini, guys, is because it's free, which is nuts. Like, it's literally free and it's incredibly good. So go to Google Console Cloud. Did this in the last video as well. This is where all the API keys are held and all that stuff for Google. So I'm going to go to my console. Again, if you don't have an account, make an account. It's pretty simple and straightforward. Although Google, out of all the sort of AI API platforms, it's a bit of a challenge, to be honest with you guys. Agree and continue, generate with Gemini, translate text, try its API reference. Let me just see something. So I'm doing this live in real time with you guys. So after creating again, okay, so let me make sure. Okay. 1 sec. So this has a lot of like cool stuff. It's considered multimodal, so it translates text, it generates images, it does so many cool things. Okay. Let's go to APIs. Let's go to enable APIs. Let's go to Gemini. Let's see what it gives me. Gemini Cloud. No, Gemini. Okay, I think it's this. Manage. So I have the API manage. Okay, credentials. Create. So by the way, let's see what Make wants from us. It just wants an API key. So I should be able to just do that, I think. And I'm going to delete, obviously, the API key or blur it out right after. So here we go. May or may not work, guys. If it does, great. If it doesn't, it's all good. We'll use something else. Okay, actually, great. Seems like it works. So what I'm interested in using, let me move myself here. I want to use 2.5 Flash would be cool. Even 2.0 would be cool. Oh, there it is. Pro Experimental. Okay. I've never used it before in this context, so this could be interesting, okay? So again, here's what we're going to use it for. This is now going to do the following. It's going to generate an email body for me and HTML. And that's what I want, because what I'm creating here as a whole, just let's go through this again. Don't mind this and its layout, but you're going to start here. And this is going to be used to run the actor. This is going to be used to get the data from the actor, okay? So this is going to get us the information from Google Maps that we've essentially scraped. So for example, the name of the business, location. If you want to get the amount of reviews or the average review stars, it all depends on what your angle is and what the purpose of what you're building is for. And you can tailor and design it for whatever purpose you want, okay? In our case, for the purpose of just kind of creating an interesting use case, I'm going to try this for the sake of, sending a cold email to a business owner as a realtor, seeing if there's an opportunity between us. Will it work? Not sure, but I can definitely guarantee you, if you're in a business that's B2B, business to business, this is fantastic, okay? So we've got that information. With that, we have the website, which allows us to then search for their email address verified for the decision maker. That's who you want to talk to, okay? Let's cancel this. Then, if it has LinkedIn with the email, it runs to Perplexity over here. And just for the sake of making it simple, and again, as always, guys, I'm going to include this in the community, the Skool community. If you're into this sort of stuff, I highly encourage you to join there. I'll be going deeper, and as we ramp up, I'm going to be showing much more complicated yet intriguing and interesting automations and solutions, and at the same time, templates, prompts, and all that other good stuff is going to be there. Plus, it's a community with like-minded individuals in or around the real estate space that are seeking to grow, but not exclusive just to realtors, just anybody that's curious and looking to learn. That's what we're about. So let's just call this research analyst. Okay, boom. Same thing here. Research analyst, boom. And then what I want to do is I'm just going to make a duplicate of this, so you can just copy, clone, because it's going to be the same thing, okay? And here I'm just going to say email generator, HTML. And I'm going to do the same here. Email generator HTML. And you'll see where we go with this, okay? So we've got that. And then, okay, let's then do, you know what? Let's swing over to Airtable for a second because this is going to be important as well. So now what you want to do is you want to go to Airtable. If you don't have an account, make one. It's free. And essentially, it's basically like Google Sheets on steroids. So I'm going to refresh, and then I'm going to create, and I'm going to go to start from scratch. Okay. And I'm going to type this be commercial real estate outreach database. Cool. I like this color actually. So name, let's go make it simpler. Business name. Industry. Okay. Contact or founder. Founder, owner. Okay, I'm just gonna go to single text, boom. So we have business name, industry, founder, owner, location. Just put city. I mean, you can put the address, I don't know if we need it. And then we'll do single line text here. Again, I'm just doing this quick and simple. Email address. Website or company website. Again, guys, you just want to understand the basics and fundamentals, and once you got that, you can do anything. I'm showing you a pretty simple, generic way of building something like this. The stuff I usually do for the clients that we have and stuff like that is much more intricate and high level, but for the purpose of getting you guys comfortable, I want to show you this. And then I highly encourage you guys to sort of take it upon yourself to play around, see what you can do, and come up with any solutions that you might have. And I encourage you to share those solutions in the community, talk about it in the comments, whatever the case is. I love this stuff. I think you do too if you've made it this far. Okay. LinkedIn URL. Oops. So we're going to go website, or rather URL. Okay. So we have business name, industry, founder, owner, location, da-da-da. Let's do phone number, although we don't really need it, but if you do want to ever call them, you can. Doesn't hurt to make cold calls, right? You can do that. And then you could do email subject, okay? And in the email subject, we will do single line text, and you'll see what we do with this. And then here we'll do email body. This will be a long text. And then this here will create status, and you'll see why. And then we'll do a single select, and we're going to add an option of send, review. Let's call it review reject so it makes sense. Let's even change it to red. Let's change this to green. And then we can even change this to sent to track. So this should be like black. Okay, cool. And then I think we should do create date. Oops. Let's do date. It's not data. Sorry, guys. Create a time. That's good. Cool. And cool. And then we're gonna do, and this will make sense a little bit more in a sec. We're gonna do last modified time. Modified time. Okay. And then actually, I want to do one more thing. I want to bring, okay, so we're going to do sent time date for the purpose of tracking. Oops, what the hell? Date. Okay, so I want to put this here. And then I want to put meeting booked. Again, it's just added. It's probably overkill at this point, but it doesn't matter. When they respond, you can do meeting booked, and you can sort of, when they respond, you can do replied, and then you can sort of create a funnel forward, because usually, it takes probably, I don't know, like 2 to 3 attempts on average sometimes to get a good response if you have good copyright. So it wouldn't hurt to create like a flow, you know what I mean? So that way you would use this to sort of keep track of, okay, when did I send it? Did they reply? How long has it been? And is it appropriate to send, right? Because we also know the date, so we can sort of review everything as a whole. And this modified time is when something changes last, it'll let us know. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, we're pretty good. And let's even close this so we can have a better view. So this is going to be your database, and you can track this on a daily. And what's awesome about Airtable is it has an app on your phone, and you could easily just go to it and review it and, literally just monitor what's going on. And you can communicate and connect with this in a different variety of ways. Like I said, if you want an agent, which we can get into a different video, to sort of control this for you, in the sense where you could say, hey, get me leads. I'm looking for 200 in Toronto and I need lawyers or something. You could do that too. Okay. So let's just go back for a second to here. So got carried away, but we're over here now. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to bring in Airtable, and we're going to do create a record. Okay. We're going to do commercial real estate. So you're selecting the name of the base. It's table 1, okay? And all of a sudden, we have everything. We have business name. So business name, I'll put myself here. So you just want to map it, okay? Title. So the title in Apify and get data set items is the business name. That's what you want. The industry. I don't remember what it's called, but it's definitely here. And what category name? Is that the best one? Yeah, probably. And this way, as you continue to build this database and this, because essentially this is something you're going to stack and build, you'll be able to then filter and categorize by industry, and it'll just make your life a lot easier. Okay, founder, owner will be the person's full name. The location, city will be, you could do North York or like neighborhood, to be honest, I think would be good. Or you could do, just in case, you could do both. So like I could put a comma and then put city, because you notice city doesn't say anything here, and then here it says North York. Email address would be here. Company website would be here. So you're just literally mapping. Very easy stuff. LinkedIn URL. Where is it? Oh yeah, I didn't pull it, but it would be here normally. Phone number. Unformatted. Let's get the formatted. Why not? So we have that. Email subject, guys, that's a tricky one. I don't use a generator for that. I kind of just do it myself. I've been working on something, that allows me to sort of make it a little bit more interesting. So here's the dilemma and here's the solution, okay? So I like to use their first name and say, take a look. That's been my subject line for my recent campaigns. And to be honest with you, it's been working pretty well. But you have to experiment, and this is why when you do these campaigns, you don't want to mass send like 100, 200 at a time. You want it to be a little bit more of a slow drip and A/B test, so you can monitor results. And then when you see something that has momentum and is picking up traction, double down on that, okay? But here's the thing. When I get their name, it's going to give me their full name. It's not going to split it, okay? Now, to make life easier and to show you the results, here's what we can do. So I have ChatGPT open here. Hey, because make is all about different formats, and if you're not technical, it might be a challenge. So I want to show you a way to do it without actually knowing how to do it for the first time. Hey, I'm using make.com, and I am looking split a name by 2. For example, the name is Jack Smith, and I only want to output Jack. How can I split it? What is the correct format or formula? Okay, so this is actually a very, very useful formula. You could also use like OpenAI to do this. So you would use AI, but why do that? You know what I mean? So, okay, so let's see. So the name would actually go in here, I think, or again, let's experiment. So we put this, I'll just use my name for now. Okay, but it won't work actually. So 1 second, guys. Okay, let me test it anyways. Test. And we'll delete this row. And I'm doing it here. You're gonna see what I'm doing now. And the reason I'm putting it here is only because I want to ensure that this is only happening if it captures what I need, even though it wouldn't capture anything. And so that would still be the case. So hang on. So for this, use 4.0 mini. It's cheap. So this won't actually cost you anything. So all you want to do is the following, add message, and you can do user on this one because it's a simple request. I will provide you with a full name, and your duty is to output only the first name, nothing else, no quotations, commentary, or other response than the first name. The full name will look like Jack Smith, for example, and you will be required to output Jack. The first space after the first name is the end of the first name. Again, let's just copy, paste, improve the prompt. So if I had more time and I wanted to actually figure this out, I just haven't had to use that specific format in a minute. So I don't remember, but you know, again, if you need something done to this effect, you can use OpenAI. It's not a bad way to do it. Just really make sure that you're focused on a very solid prompt. So just run it through OpenAI over here, like ChatGPT, and just make sure that the prompt is written well and clear, and then test it, okay? In fact, here, let's just flip it to system, just in case, because it's very instructional. User, here is the full name. Okay, boom. And then here, what I'm gonna do is just run this module only. So as you see, it's asking for a full name. Let's use my full name, and let's see what happens. And there you go. It did it. So when in doubt, use AI, but I don't know, like it's so cheap now that it doesn't matter. But if you want something a little bit more hard-coded and something that, you know, is guaranteed to work, even though this is perfect, I'll share that format or that formula with you guys a little bit later. I just don't want to block the video. So again, I like to name things. So I'll say, you know, first name extractor. And then actually that reminds me, I'm going to go back here and I'm going to write first name, because when we write emails and stuff, we don't want to address the person by their full name, right? Oh, wait, shit. First name, hold on, founder, owner, first name. Let's do it here, whatever, it doesn't matter. All right, so let's go back. So we've got that. And then the next thing is, so let's just continue filling this out. And then we're going to refresh, because when you refresh, it gives you the updated stuff that you did, which I put the first name, and that will be here. Okay, so all we're doing is just simply mapping. We don't want that. And we're going to, again, go here, and I'm just going to say, take a look, ... So this is going to be the subject line that we're going to use. So in this case, it's going to say, you know, Mickey, take a look, or the first name, take a look. Okay, test it out, see if it works. It's been working fairly well for me on the testing that I've done and the other you know, campaigns that I've been running. But again, test, see what works. Over here for the email body, we're going to prompt in a second, but you're going to want the email generator HTML result. And for status, you're going to leave that blank, and we'll do that later. And then here we're going to leave this blank for now. We're going to leave that blank for now. Blank. Okay, great. Save. Copy again. So what are we going to do? Clone. Boom. Great. Okay, save. Don't worry, we'll fix all that. Great. We're going to go here. Did we miss anything? Result. We're going to get it from here. Okay, because it's a different row. And then we're going to start working on this. Okay. And I don't know, because I haven't used this in a while. Or actually, I haven't used 2.5 for this. I hear really good things, but what's exciting is it's free somehow. So take advantage. And mainly, like, this whole operation here, like this whole sort of, this sort of setup, this build that we're doing in terms of operational costs, it's pretty minimal, especially considering what you're doing here. So we're going to do model. So sometimes it uses different language. So let's see, parts, message type, text. I don't know what. Okay, so this is different, but here, we're going to start writing. You are a master at copyright, especially business outreach, cold business outreach. You are Mickey Furman, a real estate agent, the GTA that specializes in commercial real estate. Your current duty, again, guys, I'm just freestyling, and then I'm gonna get it, I'm gonna enhance it with ChatGPT on the side. Your current duty is to write an incredibly captivating cold email to a business owner to gauge interest in potentially either selling, buying, or leasing their current unit. You will be providing them with insightful and resourceful information to make this really hard to resist. Here's where the good stuff happens, guys. Use tactics from. If you don't know these people, look into them. Chris Voss, Robert Greene. I've used this, it works like a charm. Alex Hermosi, $100 million offer. And Jordan Belfort, straight line system. Okay, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to do it here. I want you to review my prompts since you're the expert. I want you to enhance and improve it to its maximum potential. Boom. Let's see what that is. There is something else I wanted to add as well. So while that's cooking on the background, I'm going to go back here and I'm going to do something called Market Insight. And this is only because we're using the real estate vertical as our outreach campaign. If we were not, then we would do something entirely differently. Okay. Like we wouldn't even do it. But for this reason, we're going to do it. So I'm going to put that here. And again, the order is kind of up to you. Like I just kind of whipped this together super quick, but you can organize it and make it better. So now we have that, which also means we're going to go back. Okay. And I'm just going to quickly go back to, one thing. The output must be in HTML and it must be super visually appealing, well structured, and formatted, look good on both a desktop and on a cell phone. Don't lose any of the output you just gave, just enhance with what I just said. Okay, so that's going to do that. Put this over here, and we're going to add one more of these as well. So we're going to, and you're going to understand why. So we're going to just do a simple clone. And what we're going to do is disconnect here, connect here. We're going to do the same thing here. So we're going to clone. We're going to disconnect here, bring this here, bring this here. Okay, don't get confused, guys. And then I'm just going to rename this super quick. And I'm going to call this, let's rename this to market. Market. Okay. Okay. And then save. And then you click this auto align button, and no matter how messy it is, you get back in line. It's beautiful. Okay. So now we have this. Oops. Sue. Okay. Great. Copy. I think that should be good. I go here. I'm going to paste. Now, first and foremost, get rid of this crap. Get rid of this. Oh, no subject line and no email signature. Must never output. By the way, this is just from learned things I've noticed. HTML at the beginning or end. Provide full prompt. Let's yell at it a little bit. So this stuff over here is just from experience. I've seen this happen often. Not super often, but it definitely happens. And so I'm just kind of taking all my best practices, and as I'm doing this, I'm iterating in my mind and sort of thinking of ways of how to make it even better. And I encourage you guys to do the same. Okay, so one other thing, never, if you see a company name that ends in LTD or something like that, never use that. Only use the company name in casual terms so it seems super authentic. Okay. Okay. And then for the CTA, let's do this link for my calendar. Okay, so I'm just quickly doing stuff on the fly, guys. Let's go to Calendly. If you happen to have something like a Calendly, please feel free to use it. It's pretty easy. Hang on, let me just go to my thing here, copy link. And I want it to be baked in to my actual email, so this way they can just book meetings with me. That'd be cool, right? Just in the background, these things are going out and meetings are booking. That would be very cool. So that's what we're working on. Do not include subject line, header tags, meta tags, or email signature. Excellent. Another thing that we're going to get in a moment, I'll show you guys. Excellent. So now we're going to copy, get rid of this. Okay. Okay. Agent rating that works for under gallery real estate. Tone, structure, flow, never. Okay, that's good. Love that. Okay, great. So we're gonna have to test and see what happens. That looks good for market analysis. I'm gonna delete this, and I'm gonna say you are an expert with real estate data and analysis. Your job is to review this address and location and find relevant real estate news to that area for commercial reasons. It must be concise, high-value data that can be used in an email as value proposition. Okay, so we're going to take that. Okay, let's beef up this prompt too. Boom. It all makes sense, guys. We're almost at the finish line, and don't worry, it's going to be amazing. Again, this is me doing it super quickly. As you can see, the possibilities are literally endless, and you can go completely nuts and stack it. There's so many tools here, and just the amount of leverage you will get out of having a system like this is insane. It's a game of output, and if you're not able to put in the time for output, which many of us are not because we're busy doing things, you're not going to keep up. So here's a solution where, you know, you take some time, you put something together, you hire someone to do it like me, and I'll take it and make it insane and make it amazing, and then you sit back and watch the meetings fill up in your calendar. So it's really up to you, because I can tell you your competitors are absolutely, you know, looking at this sort of stuff because the technology is currently available and it just does not make sense not to use it. So as you can see, I'm just quickly overlooking, you know, what this is. It looks good. Again, I'm not putting too much time into this because I just want to show you guys an example, but same as before, we do this, do the markdown. Again, the markdown is more of a habit. I cannot tell you guys objectively that the outputs are better, but let's just imagine that it is for the sake of it. Okay. And then, of course, we want to delete that, and then we're going to do that, and then we're going to do the exact same thing. And by the way, if I had more time with this, I could probably figure out even more efficient ways of how to structure it. I'm just showing you a super, super quick way. Okay, so almost done. We're going to go here, and then we're just going to simply do that, and I'm going to put myself here, and we're going to basically say neighborhood. There's data to analyze. Neighborhood, North York, address, here, city, if applicable. What else? Oh, type of business. And again, you could really put emphasis, like the more you think and the more you kind of consider, okay, what can I do? How can I add? How can I be more creative with my angles of this prompting? The more things are going to come to you, and you're going to realize that you can add things. So like, for example, a website, and the reason I'm doing this again, because I'm just thinking out loud, maybe some, like, I don't know, maybe they announced recently that like they hired more staff or they downsized. Like any piece of data that I could capture and sort of leverage into something, I'm gonna do that. You know what I mean? Input domain, is that the thing I want? No, not from there. I want it here. And then what else? Website. Yeah, guess that's it. So we're gonna copy, save, market analysis, okay. Save, great, okay. Now what's going on here? Did we do it? Oh, okay, so we're gonna copy. Remember, we already got this, got it. And then what we're gonna wanna add is this. So we're gonna do, look for 2.5, that's the latest model. I hope it works, guys. I mean, I hear such good things, that it's almost like state of the art, to be honest. And I hear that it's free. Just get that API key the way I did, the way I showed you. If you have questions, obviously I'll walk you guys through it anytime, just hit me up. But it's fairly straightforward. Just get onto the Google Console Cloud and you should be good to go, okay? We're gonna go with model, we're gonna go with parts, and we're gonna go with text, and then we're gonna go boom. Great, and then I would like to add an item, and I would like to do text, and I would like to do, no, can I add an item here? One sec, yes, user, parts, 1 second, text, okay, here is the data to use within email. Okay, so what do we have? We need all the basic information. So, okay guys, we need name of business. So So in this case, North York Smile, address, no, yeah, let's go address. The more the better, right? Address, neighborhood, city, North York. Oops. I think that's it. And then I think recipient, well, name. No, let's go name, because I don't want it to get confused, right? Oops, why did it do that? Hang on, sorry guys. Okay, hang on. Okay, recipient name. We're gonna do this, just the first name. Research analyst. Content. Okay, so you're gonna go for content. Research analyst. Insight on the business and owner. Okay. Then you're gonna go here and we're gonna do market analyst on the real estate of the real estate near and around the business. I think it should be okay. Again, we'll see, but the whole point of this is we want to iterate. So I'm just going to say clean up this user prompt. Okay. Okay, great, it's cool, great, oops, let's go here, delete, paste, excellent, and now we're just going to do it here as well. Okay, important, and then add item here, and then we're going to do role user, and then we're going to do parts, and we're going to do this, and we're just going to write that. And the difference is we have to change it for this section because it's part of a different flow. So research analyst is going to be this one, and it's going to be this, and then the market is going to be this. Content. Great. Okay, I think it's done. Okay, guys, and then we go here, and then, okay, so result status. You can take a look, email sent status, excellent. Okay, now let's run this one more time and see what happens. So just to walk you guys through everything that's now going to happen, we've gone to Apify, we have set up, and by the way, into the future, so if you download this template and you want to simply make requests, you literally can just go into here. Here's where you would change the city or location. Here's where you would change the verticals or business industries. And by the way, because this is using strict JSON syntax, what you want to do is if you make those changes, just literally like, so like, I don't know, I'll give you an example. Say like, I don't know, I write lawyer, okay? And I made a mistake. If I do this and I go to run, I get an error. It's not going to work. That's the crazy thing about this tech is that, you know, with coding and with development and with AI and all this other stuff, it is so strict that you have to be bang on. And this is where problem solving and thinking sort of comes into play. So I know the mistake that I made, but I'm just going to delete it. But what you can do, let's keep lawyer actually, that could be interesting, okay? Is you literally copy, you go to ChatGPT, hey, check to ensure my JSON is correct. I do this all the time, and it's a great way to make sure that you don't have any issues. And then it says almost correct there. Found the problem. So it's going to clean it up. I'm going to copy it, and then I'm going to paste it. There we go. Delete. Okay, it's pretty straightforward. Paste and match style. Great. Save. Let's run it. So now let's see what happens. So what should happen is right now it's getting the data, or it's running the actor that's going to be doing the scraping of the Google Maps based on the request parameters that we have. In the future, like I said, you can control this directly from Airtable. I'll probably make a video on that. If that's of interest to you guys, let me know. Or even do it in a way where it's controllable from your phone. But for the time being, when you have this set up, you can literally just pop into here and do exactly what I showed you. So now it's gotten the data, it's gotten some emails. I went down a path initially where we didn't have the LinkedIn, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. And now it's doing the research on the individual and the company. And this is what's interesting and incredible about AI, is that all this here would represent the labor of like 3 to 5 individuals, or one individual working for a really long time to get all this information, to do the research, to put together the copyright. So you would have one individual that would have to be highly skilled in multiple aspects, spend a lot of time to do this, where in reality today, you could literally just have this stuff going and running on autopilot, you know? So let's see. Once this comes in, now we're gonna go to Airtable. Okay, it should, where is it? Come on, maybe we gotta refresh. Okay, so there it is. First name not provided. Interesting, why not? Founder, owner, not provided. Huh, I don't like that. Hang on, guys. Let's see what happened here. Business name, industry, phone number, email. Okay, email body, name not provided. Why not? Chat, overall system content. No first name provided. Interesting. We'll figure that out. We'll see what happens with this one. We have another one coming down the pipe that has a LinkedIn. Okay, what happened here? See, sometimes you get errors. And let's find out. I don't know. Okay, AnyMailFinder gave us an error. Missing value of required domain. Okay, so this happens because if it doesn't, okay. So, okay, I guess for some reason it's not giving us things that have a domain. So we're gonna run another filter, and we're gonna say website. And sometimes it's just because the domain isn't properly formatted, which can be problematic, but website exists. Okay, this will save us a lot of problems. Let's save, let's do this, and let's run again. Now, let's go back to Airtable, and let's see what we got this time. Okay, so this time we actually got this attorney's name, Salim. I got his first name, Momin, da-da-da-da-da. By the way, what I like about it is you can click like this, and it shows you, okay? So he's an attorney in Scarborough, Toronto. His full name, his first name, his email address, his website, his LinkedIn, his phone number. Here's the cool part. So Salim, take a look, remember? Here's the cool part, okay? Here's what we do. We go to this and we copy, and then just go to Google and go to HTML preview. I go to it all the time. You could just have this tab open, delete this, and you paste. This is what it would look like. So let's take a look. Salim operating a respected practice like Salim Momin, a law office across Swiss, on a major artery like Markham Road suggests you understand the power of strategic positioning in Scarborough. Interesting, the demand for professional service spaces in this specific pocket of Scarborough is tightening noticeably. We're seeing savvy firms consolidating, are securing larger footprints now, anticipating future growth, and locking in advantages before completion intensifies further. The visibility your location offers is becoming an increasingly valuable asset. Surface level, focus on real estate, specifically on these underlying commercial property tracks. Like, not bad, guys. Like, again, I'm just showing you very simple, quick, easy, nothing too fancy-pantsy, you know, for you guys to benefit from. So now that you've seen it and you understand it, and to save us the hassle of running all of these, because I see that you understand it, at least I hope so, okay? And this will continue to run in the background, and you will continue to get your database here filled up as you move along, as you can see here. Now in this case, sometimes for some reason I'm not getting a first name, which is interesting because it should give me a first name, but regardless of that, like I said, you can improve and filter for these things, and for some reason we're getting the business names, but we're not getting the first names, which is odd because we should be. So let me just take a look. You know what, let me just stop it for a sec if I can. Okay, save, AnyMailFinder website. Okay. Okay, that's right. I know why. We need to make sure that the full name exists. CEO, founder. Again, filtering will be your best friend because when you want specific data, you can't compromise and you have to set up the right filters. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to make something different now, just for the sake of this. So I'm going to do Vaughan, Ontario. Okay, boom, save. Let's run it. So now it's going to take a moment. And if you want to keep a very clean sort of database, you sort of just, delete this stuff. So far we have one quality one, and hopefully the next ones forward are going to be all quality. And once I have an example, I'm going to show you guys something cool. So I'm going to save this. As this runs, we're going to keep that open. We're going to go to another make.com. Oops. Sorry, guys. And I'm going to create another scenario so you guys can see. So we're going to go to Airtable. We're going to go to watch. This is similar to the setup that we had with the content, okay? It's the same idea. So you're going to go here. And then you're going to go here. And then if you recall, remember I said we needed a last modified time. So this is key, okay? And then you'll see why. So now, trigger, modify time. This means this now is the column that when it changes, it triggers. But the trigger has to be based on status. Oh, hold on. Did we do this right? Yes, status. Trigger field, label field, status. Yes. Okay. So to test, I'm just going to, doesn't matter. Okay, I just want to pass through. 1 sec. Let me see if this works. Table 1. You know what? This one won't be good. Let's just do like OpenAI or something. Okay, we're going to go here. And just again, this doesn't matter. I just want to make sure that what I'm seeking to pass through will pass through. You'll see what I mean in a second. This doesn't matter. I don't even know. What I'm trying to do is make sure that it filters what I want. So prove, okay? Status, boom, equal to, okay? And then what were our options based on this? Send, okay. Send. Okay. So now, let's see if it works. You're here, and you see something, okay? You see, oh, wow, okay, so we're getting cool names now, by the way, guys. Here, let's see. See this? I didn't like that. It said that, but you can delete it, and this is why you're always going to want to double check this over here. Adriano noticed recent expansion of services growing online, impressive momentum, handling complex cases, the kind of growth, And again, you can improve and you can iterate on this and make it even better. Basically, this is a really, really good way to outreach, and it's just going to continuously give you more and more. And what we want to do, is we want to go back and then like for this guy, okay? I like that email. I click send. Now, because I have this, I would have this turned on and running every minute. So I would just, can't do it. Okay, save. So you could run it every minute. Okay, and because it's running every minute, it's going to check for the emails that you've labeled as send, and then it's going to look like this. It should. Boom. Okay, so what did we get? Okay, but that's not what we wanted, because we only had this guy. So that means, what happened here? Send. Status, no. Okay, let's try it again. Let's take this away. Let's do it again. And what should happen now is it only passes that. Great, it worked. Okay, so this is the guy. This is what we wanted. And this is now how you connect the secondary automation, because this is going to be running at all times. And so all that you would do here, I'm just going to do something. We'll get rid of this. We'll keep that. And then you go email. Okay. Send an email. I don't know, so many fucking emails here. I don't even know what's connected right now, but let's test mickey.furman@salient.ai. And then you would just literally map it in again. So you would email subject, and then content would be here, which is the body. Okay. And then what you can do is I go to something called Y-stamp. Okay. And I have an account. This is a great place to get an email signature if you don't have one, just to make it look super professional. Don't mind all this stuff. Whoops. Let's just use this. Okay. This one is cool. And then we go to, where is it again? Templates, design, apps. Hold on, guys. Hold on. Install. HTML. So you want the HTML. You're going to copy it here. You're going to go here. And at the bottom, you're going to do this. Don't worry about what it looks like. If you want it to actually look prettier, guys, do this. Here, I'll make it easy because I'm sharing the template and I want you guys to win. You go to set variable, which allows you to make things pretty. Email, signature, paste, boom, connect. Oops. Boom. So that's not what we want. We don't want that here. Save. Want that here. This. Boom. 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 So if all goes to plan, what should happen is I should get this email. Okay. And it should be in HTML with, oh yeah, actually one thing. Email body. Let's delete this. And email signature. Create some spacing. Save. Great. Now let's see if it works. Oh, okay. So my email. Let me reconnect. 1 second, guys. Add connection type. Here, I guess I'll walk you guys through how this goes. Okay. Google restriction. So I already have. So this again all takes place on the Google Console Cloud. If you're using Gmail like me, you're gonna go here. You're gonna go to it always confuses me for some reason. You're gonna go to Gmail. Okay. Library. Gmail. Let's click that. Let's manage credentials. Create credentials. Web. So this is the actual. Okay, so this is the URL that you need for make. Wow. Okay, so hang on. We're here. Remember this, the authorized redirect. So this is what you need. Okay, you then go create. This should work. Copy. Paste. Then we go back. Copy. Paste. Sign in. Continue. Continue. Guys, I think I got it. All right. There we go. So the issue was I had the wrong URL, but okay, we got through it. So here's what we do. So now that you've got that, we're just going to simply, again, we're just passing through, right? So you're going to go with subject, and then content is going to be a combination of the email body and then a space and then the signature that we've created from YStamp. Okay. And then to send it to, we're just going to send it to me for test. To this email. Oh, well, actually, that's the email we're sending from, so let's do it. Oops. Like that. Okay. Okay, so if all works, we should be getting an email in a moment, guys. And there we go. This is what it looks like. Okay, and if you click here, there's my calendar. So this, I know we had a couple hiccups, is a really cool way to do a lot of outreach with little to no effort. That's really detailed and researched, and, you know, book meetings and be creative and think of interesting ways. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it. Stick around for the next one, and absolutely, definitely put in your questions in the comments. If you need any assistance, hit me up, and I'll catch you on the next one, guys. Take care.